Newsmax reporters caught up with residents of Joe Biden's hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania, where a Rising crew member is also from, and they were left stunned by what they had to say. Let's watch some of that.
Scranton, Pennsylvania, outside the childhood home of President Joe Biden. On Election Day in 2020, he came back here, went inside, and wrote a message on one of the walls that simply said, "From this house to the White House." He's up for re-election again in 2024, so we decided to come here to Scranton, his hometown, walk the streets, and ask the people here what they really think about their president. How do you feel about our current president?
He's okay.
He needs to get the hell out of the White House. He's ruined this country. This country's in a hole.
He's pretty much the kind of guy who should be a mayor of Scranton instead of President of the United States.
What would you like to see him do moving forward?
I don't know. I would like to see him try again with student debt. I would like to see him work on our healthcare system.
Ooh, I felt that woman sigh in my bones. Meanwhile, President Biden was forced to answer to polling showing him trailing behind Donald Trump in 5 of 6 key swing states.
Trump in all these swing state polls.
Because you don't read the polls. I'll give there are 10 polls. 8 of them I'm beating him in those states. 8 of them. You guys only do 2. CNN and New York Times. Check it out. Check it out. We'll get you a copy of all those polls.
Okay? You don't believe you're trailing in battleground states?
No, I don't.
So we're just going with, no, it's not happening. I haven't seen bad polls. I'm not double digits behind the likely Republican nominee in these crucial states.
But we're only looking at the most recent polls and not the polls from a long time ago that showed different things. Yeah, that's an interesting defense.
It's outrageous. I just got to say that anybody gets away with those kinds of answers. What? I know the journalists have limited time, and sometimes you just have them on the line. And
he should have borrowed Whoopi Goldberg's line that, like, well, which 4,000 people was that? That even answered. Was it people in Scranton?
I mean, was the reporter not prepared to say these are the most recent polls, or you know, are you going to do anything differently to try to get those numbers back up? Because it doesn't give you any concern. There's specific demographic groups that are running from your campaign that have been historically the base of the Democratic Party. What's your message to Black Americans? What's your message to Arab Americans? What's your message to Latinos? Nothing? Nothing? He just turns and pivots off.
His message to them is read the older polls. Read the other polls that show me ahead. That's the message.
Oh, boy. What did you make of some of those man-on-the-street interviews?
You know, you got to be careful with those things because obviously, like, they just showed us 3 people and they pick which 3 people we see.
No,
and
that was America. That was a perfect portrait.
Those were real Americans. Don't mistake me. Those were real people. And, you know, it calls to mind, who was it? LBJ, who couldn't get, by the end of his presidency, he would get heckled at a rally of any human being on it. He could only do like rallies at the military where they're not allowed to react. I mean, Joe Biden is on a historical level approaching that point of unfavorability, of unpopularity, and he's likely up against Trump, who's not that popular either. It's not like he's up against this wildly popular person who people are counting to sweep in and save the day. People, if anything, are going, ugh. They're going, ugh, at both.
Yeah, I mean,
at both options.
No one was asked. Obviously, they weren't asking about Donald Trump. But what's interesting is that if you assume that the second person is a conservative, like the enthusiasm for Biden of the other two, like the Biden people, is still so milquetoast. The first guy goes, he's okay, which comedic timing tops. Great stuff there from that guy. And then the last one, who I'll call our resident, not really quite a Bernie bro, let's call her a Warren stand-in.
Yeah.
I mean, the depth of those sighs could fuel a Pavarotti aria. Like, you can, the breath control of that woman, it came from her soul. She clearly wants to root for the guy, but like the first person interviewed, just cannot bring herself to say anything good. Like, try again with student debt. Maybe do something, a little healthcare, please. Just a little healthcare. This is what America's been reduced to. too.
It was a good idea. Good on Newsmax for doing that segment. It was smart.
I love when they talk to people. I love when they put together those debate, watch, review panels.
Yes.
I love the whole Frank Lutz stuff. That's the only way we can learn about anything. Otherwise, we're just sitting here talking. It's part of why I love doing a call-in show, because I would sit down twice a week, and it's not all of America, but it's a cross-section of folks who call in, different political backgrounds. They would tell me fascinating things, and I got a sense of how off base I was about the predictions that I was making on my own podcast.
That's why I so enjoy the feedback that I get and that we get in the comments on YouTube and on Twitter and other places, and your emails when you send them.
I think it's a little bit of a different, it's not illegitimate, but I think it's a different cohort of people, the folks that are engaged.
You hear that? Rihanna's calling you different. Remember that the next time you're upset.
I mean, most people don't have a YouTube account.
Yeah.
Most people just watch YouTube.
Well, most people don't live in Scranton.
Sure. But to make a comment, you have to have invested enough to put your email address in and to have registered for an account with YouTube. That's a level.
It's a mistake to pretend the internet is real life, but it's also a mistake to pretend the internet doesn't represent anything.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You know, it's not a wrong cross section. It's just it's a different cross section than you find of people just out on the street. So I think that it was really valuable. Let us know how much you feel like your opinions were reflected in one of those three individuals. I really want to hear more from that second person as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one they had to bleep.
The one they had to bleep.
At first, I thought the first person they were talking to, the older gentleman, was wearing a Trump hat, but it was just a red hat.
Oh, yeah, I thought so too. It's rigged. They're rigging it against Biden, but no, it's just a guy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've been talking about it a lot, and I think we'll continue to do so with Biden's numbers. Maybe, okay, fine. Maybe it was a fluke poll. We'll see what the next one says. I don't think so. The trajectory is just so bad, and they seem just very in denial about it and very unwilling to take on the fact that he's old, and that's a major problem for people. People don't feel like the situation in the country is great. People are now suddenly interested in attaching themselves to Kamala Harris more so than Joe Biden, which is a really wild development given how unpopular she has been compared to him for so long.
There's the expression, a canary in a coal mine, a warning of bad things to come. If you're at a place where you're saying, well, we've got Kamala, I almost want to call it a Kamala in a coal mine.
Kamala in a coal mine?
Because you're already dead. When you're already talking about, well, maybe Kamala will save us, the campaign is DOA.
No, it's not going to happen.
All right. Well, that does it for us today.
Yes, it does. It's been a fun week, but tomorrow, Rising will be back with Jessica Burbank and Amber Athey. Actually, she's got a new last name because she just got married. We got to get that fixed. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we're available anywhere that podcasts are available. I was thinking it felt like a long week on Tuesday, but then Thursday got here in kind of a hurry.
Yeah, you know, time flies when you're having fun, Robbie.
Well, we're ending on a high note, and we will see you very soon. Have a good one, everybody.
Ta-ta.